Hey everyone, and welcome back to NFLTV. I'm Samuel Zito, joined as usual by Ramon Pinataro. Ramon, Division 1 football back this weekend. Certainly missed it at the weekend, but I'm sure the players were glad not to be out there such with the heavy conditions. I think Division 3 players certainly felt the worst of the Melbourne conditions, or certainly the worst we've seen all year. It was a pretty tough weekend, but it's certainly good to have Division 1 footy back this weekend. A massive 5 weeks coming up now, heading into the 2013 final series.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, a bit of Northcote Park managed to get some injuries also. It's going to be interesting to see how they go. But overall, it is great to see Division 1 footy back.
And we start this weekend with a clash at De Winton Park. It's McLeod taking on Montmorency. It could be a really interesting one, this one, because we've seen some close games in recent times by McLeod against some good opposition. It has to be said, they knocked off Northcote Park, just lost to Bandura, and then last week probably should have beaten West Preston Lakeside, who moved inside of the top 5, missed a few chances late in the game and coughed the ball up. Cost them dearly. Montmorency, though, is not the giant killer. They're the Giants at the moment. They've just beaten anyone they've had to in this superb run. They've had 13 straight wins, and you'd have to think they'll be the heavy favourites, despite McLeod playing some good footy against premiership contenders.
Yeah, I think so. Montmorency undefeated, a fantastic win against Heidelberg. Remember, as for McLeod, they've had some close battles. To be a little bit disappointed they lost that game against West Preston Lakeside. I think they're going to certainly be a big show, but I'm going to have to go with Montmorency.
Of course, the game being played, as I said, at De Winton Park, so McLeod's home ground gives them a bit more of an advantage there. Will be tough, but they'll give themselves every chance. West Preston Lakeside plays Northcote Park. This is a game between 5th and 4th on the table. West Preston Lakeside certainly playing their best football of the year in the recent month, winning 3 of their past 4 games. Good to see an even contribution across the list, and as we said last week, 50 players have been used in the seniors this year by West Preston Lakeside. Northcote Park, though, they've back on the winners list after a fortnight ago defeating Eltham, back on even terms with Heidelberg. Both sides now obviously looking for that 3rd spot at the very least and looking for a double chance in the finals. Northcote Park certainly with a tougher run home. It's going to be a big clash. I still think Northcote Park will get up and win away from home.
I think West Preston Lakeside, they will fancy themselves, as Northcote Park have managed to get some injuries as well. So I think West Preston Lakeside going on the form, big win against McLeod was great. I'm going to be going Northcote Park, but I think it'll be a lot tighter than you think.
It's certainly, as I said, West Preston Lakeside's almost gone under the radar to this point of the year, but those last couple of wins have certainly propelled their finals aspirations. They're inside the top 5 for the first time this year. Greensborough has gone the other way. We still rate them as a side which can really trouble the top teams, but they've actually lost 6 games on the trot now, and their finals hopes are really clinging by a thread if they are still there at all. They're down into 8th place on the ladder. As I said, 6 consecutive losses and now 2 games outside of the top 5. Bandura, well, they didn't have Cameron Cloak 2 weeks ago, but they still beat Epping really comfortably. And you'd have to think, even though they're away from home, that the Bulls would be the heavy favourites in this one here.
Yeah, I certainly think Bundoora will pretty much end Greensborough's chances of making the September action. I think with Greensborough's 6 losses, they did go under the radar. We thought, they were probably the 5th best side of the competition, but doesn't show that on the ladder. So Bundoora will end their finals chances.
And of course, recent clashes between these sides have always been close. In 2011, they played out 2 really thrilling games. Last year, Greensborough was able to push Bundoora despite being undermanned early in the year, and even earlier this season it was a really close game. I know the final scoreline said a margin of 46 odd points, but it was within 10 points in the final term, and Bundoora kicked away late. So you just never know, but certainly would have to be an upset for Greensborough to get the win. Epping has what it would consider a really big chance of claiming its 3rd win of the year. Of course, the Blues are now again 1 game at percentage down in the bottom spot in 10th place behind Lower Plenty. They host Eltham this weekend, and the Panthers, well, they've been inconsistent a bit of late. They've fallen outside of the top 5 after last week's loss to Northcote Park. They are certainly starting to get their best team back out in the field, though they've had a pretty long injury list. It was good to see Brendan O'Sullivan back in the side prior to the break and in the best on his return. And obviously, you talk about that midfield always with Eltham and their ability to move the ball cleanly. Gavin Connolly's comfortably leading the Coaches Player of the Year award. I would think that Eltham would have too much class, but I'm sure on their home paddock, Epping probably has this one down as a game that they simply must win to ensure they're in Division 1 next year.
Yeah, certainly must. The game and plus percentage with Lower Plenty. I think still I'm going to be going Eltham to win the game, but Epping, I'd say, is probably one of their last chances to actually stay in the Division 1 for next season, but Eltham for mine.
Tough 2 weeks coming up afterwards for Epping as well, with Montmorency and Heidelberg in successive weeks, so it doesn't get any easier. And they finish the year with Greensborough and, of course, West Preston Lakeside. The final game in Division 1 this round is, well, it's a really interesting one because the ladder positions won't necessarily say so. It's 3rd versus 9th, but it's Heidelberg travelling to Lower Plenty. Of course, Lower Plenty caused one of the great upsets when they beat Heidelberg back in round 9 at Warringal Park. And I'm sure Heidelberg's going to be out for revenge. Of course, they need to just keep winning to ensure they have a double chance in the finals. But I'm sure Lower Plenty also got plenty of confidence out of their last up win against Greensborough. And they're going to be hard to beat on their home paddock. It's always a hard ground to really adapt to, the smaller confines. And they've actually travelled not too badly against Heidelberg over the past 2 years. Of course, that win and last year a game where they lost by 10 points. I still fancy Heidelberg, but certainly a danger game.
I certainly think so as well. I'm actually going to be going with an upset. I'll go with Lower Plenty. Remember, we did think they had a chance against Heidelberg last time, and they won by 7 points. They also defeated Greensborough, coming back from 4 goals. It is a pretty difficult track to play on, so I'm actually going to go with an upset and go for Lower Plenty.
Should be an interesting one there. We're going to go to our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the upcoming games in Division 2, and of course, we'll go back over the action from Division 3 at the weekend.